Thanks a lot for staying with us on TVC Breakfast. Let's head into our next discussion now. And it's about the lingering crisis rocking the Delta State People's Democratic Party. And it follows the party's primaries, which may just threaten its chances of retaining the state in next year's election. So on May the 25th this year, the PDP picked its governorship candidate in the person of Sheriff Oborevwori. But the Federal High Court ruled that he lacked the legal competence to participate in the election. And the verdict followed a suit that was brought before the court by an aggrieved member of the party, Olorogo David Edevbie. Although that's Mr. Edevbie, who came second in the primaries, is the new governorship candidate, there is still confusion as to whether this is the right move to make. And so to help us get some more sense of this controversy in the Delta State chapter of the PDP, we have a PDP chieftain, that's Ivan Siwure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here.
So, Evans, is everybody on board in Delta PDP with the candidacy of David Edevbie?
Yes, the Deltas are on board with the candidacy of David Edevbie.
Well, that's
very widely accepted.
It's PDP.
PDP.
Yes.
Yes. PDP should be on board. PDP should be on board.
Should be. Why
yes, should be, because at this time, I know that the party is highly polarized, but it's a great political party that has the capacity to always bring itself back together.
Tell us what is the nature of this polarization?
The nature of this polarization is coming from what I would term history greatest scandal.
Scandal?
Yes, history greatest scandal. Because the person of Sheriff Oborevwori, who is being fronted by the governor of Delta State, Senator Dr. Atefa Yokowa, is not qualified. He has issues with his certificates. In fact, he does not possess a WAEC certificate. The current WAEC certificate that he's carrying and is peddling about, and which he tendered to INEC in 2018, is a forged document. The date on that WAEC certificate is November 12, 1979, whereas he claimed in an affidavit, which he deposed to 17th of July 2003, and another one in 19th of February 1982 that he was born on 19th of June. And in both affidavits, he used two different names.
What are the names?
Where the affidavit he deposed to a cousin of his, Benson Ogbolo, deposed to in 1982, carries the name Francis Oborevwori, and that he was born on 19th of June, 1963. And then the second affidavit, one Oborevwori Orokwedo Francis, deposed to 4 years after the purported WAEC, carries another name, Oborevwori Orokwedo Francis, with the date of birth, 19 June 1963. These are, we're talking about one individual having
the
two.
The one is 1963. Yes.
Both of them are 1963, but two different names.
But the same date of birth.
The same date of birth, but two different names. One is Francis Oborevwori, and the other one, Oborevwori Orokwedo Francis. Now, when I come to his certificate, he claimed to have obtained a first school living certificate number 195433 at the age of 14 in 1977. That is when he exited primary school. If you look at this, curiously, this will be then again for 22 years, 1977, that he said he finished the first school living certificates, and then 1999 he said he attended Ogareki Grammar School. This will be within a space of 22 years. 22 years that is unaccounted for. I mean, during this period, he has been involved actively in the politics of then Bende State and then Delta State. He served as a supervisory councillor in the council. and then he also was the Osubi community chairman. So Delta are asking, with what secondary school certificate did he serve as a councillor?
And now he of course ascended to the position of Speaker of the House. But still talking about this court, this case, of course he gave a defense in the matter despite the allegations brought by Edevbie's side. But what my takeaway from it is that Justice Taiwo said he didn't bring any solid evidence to rebut the evidences that your side relied on. And the case has, of course, developed to the fact that the party has gone on to appeal, and Sheriff is, of course, still insisting that his documents are in order. So it appears that the last has not been heard on the matter. So these are still, so until a superior court gives a verdict, we may not be able to say it's all safe and good for your side.
Well, my side is the side of the best for Delta State. And I can tell you that Sheriff did not defend himself before Justice Taiwo of the Federal High Court. He didn't defend himself. He didn't defend the allegation that were clearly brought before him, that he's not the owner of the certificate, that the certificate he has paraded is forged, because the white certificate which he is parading carries the date of birth of November 2nd, 1977. Whereas he has sworn to affidavit in several documentation that he was born on the 19th of June, 1963. Meanwhile, the WAEC, which he has submitted to INEC, which is the forged WAEC, is carrying the date of birth of 2nd of November, 1979. So there's a great inconsistency, and he didn't defend this certificate. All he said before Justice Taiwo is that the suit that David Edevbie brought to the court is premature. And what is the prematurity he's talking about is that Electoral Act states that you need to wait. You need to wait until the name of Sheriff is submitted to INEC before he can institute that case. But also the same Electoral Act. The same Electoral Act, Section 84, subsection 14, also clearly stated that notwithstanding the provision of the Act and the rules of your political party, that an aspirant may complain if there is a contradiction in the provision of the Act or in the guideline of the political party. If any aspect of this guideline or the rules of the political party is not complied with, that the aspirant may apply to the Federal High Court to seek a redress. And also the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the PDP guideline clearly requires that a gubernatorial aspirant must have a minimum of WAEC. Sheriff Oborevwori does not have a WAEC, because the WAEC document that is parading is a forged one with a different birth certificate, different from his own birth certificate, and that is the same fraudulent document he submitted to INEC in 2018 in breach of our Constitution and in breach of the PDP Constitution.
Okay, Mr. Oborevwori, so, all these are still, matters that are still, subject to the final court's verdict, and we don't know how far this would go. But that doesn't still minus the fact of the crisis within your party in Delta State. You've talked about the role of Governor Okowa in the crisis. You say this is a man that, more or less sponsored or endorsed the emergence of Sheriff as the party's gubernatorial candidate. But now that you have this victory, this level of victory from the court now, what's been the reception like from your party?
Well, the reception is, for me, for Olorungu David Edevbie is quite outstanding. It's very highly accepted. If you only need to be in Delta State on the day the verdict of the Federal High Court was being July 7th, 2023. 2022. The state had always, because of this crisis, the state has always been a state of a political graveyard. But on that day, there was, there was happiness all over the state. In fact, in Asaba, even people in the government, they had to drive to their home and lock up their house to celebrate.
Because the reason why I'm asking, and the reason why I'm even curious at your answer, is because reports say that the party, even before Sheriff had filed a notice to appeal, the party in Delta State had already, expressed his intention to appeal the decision, signifying that they would rather follow Sheriff.
Yeah, no, that's not the point. That did not signify that they would rather follow. The point is this is TV Continental. TV Continental will not allow somebody that is not qualified, competent, and intelligent to be the CEO of TV Continental. And I also believe that His Excellency Senator Dr. Fayokwa, the governor of Delta State, will not allow a quack to be the CEO of his own personal organization. This is the problem. So no matter how you use the fund of Delta State, from the treasury of Delta State, as a jamboree fund.
Well, you have evidence of that.
This is what is going on. Of course, over 207 billion has been taken as loan, jamboree fund, to make sure that he becomes the vice president of Nigeria, to make sure that he pushes his puppets, who is not qualified, Sheriff Oborevwori, to be the governor of Delta State, to make sure that his own daughter is a member of the Delta State House of Assembly.
How come there's so much silence in Delta?
There's so much silence.
There's so much silence in that. After that kind of jamboree loan, nobody has really come out in Delta to say, how do you take such huge amount of money, over 200 billion?
Edevbie has come out.
No, I mean in terms of the
masses of our people. Yes.
The voice is still muted in the state.
Nobody.
I think I personally have made more noise on this matter than the whole of Delta State.
And we do appreciate it very well. But
what I'm saying
is the dilemma of Delta State.
What I am saying in this context is what is going on in the state in which a candidate has been seen as by so many people as flawed because of his certificate issues and all of that. And why did Okowa continue to stand behind this man in spite of all the dissuasions? I understand that the former governor of the state, James Ibori, was against him. And from what I heard, he said, how do you have Ibori? How do you have Dr.
Emmanuel
Udwaha? Yes. How do you have Dr. Okowa?
Yes.
And then this. Yes. So he says that even in the governor's forum, this man cannot stand
the National Economic Council.
How did it come to that even during the primaries, you had a situation where the daughter of Okowa had a smooth sail.
Yes, unopposed.
Yes. The daughter of Udwaha was brought close and thrown aside.
Most competitive primaries.
Yes,
with so much money spent.
Yes. And then the daughter of Ibori hit a stalemate. It was a primary of daughters.
Yeah,
former Governor Ibori's daughter eventually made it.
But after the stalemate, 34, there was a draw, and then she had to go. She went through a very horrendous experience, like the daughter of.
What is going on between Okowa and Ibori? Because some people said
it's the inordinate ambition of one man who wants to be everything, and every other person should be nobody. This is what is going on. And a lot of money, as I said. You're a Deltan, and both of us, Nigerians should share in our pain, because this is unacceptable. We have had a speaker in Sheriff Oborevwori who should be a very, very illegitimate speaker because he has no certificate.
But you guys didn't make noise when he was speaker. You guys didn't make noise when it was until
the screening. It was until the recent screening It was David
even-
Edevbie.
But there was a
you guys
training.
didn't know.
We didn't know.
You guys should have known. You guys know each
I
other.
know.
Don't tell me that. You guys know each other.
He was my
It is when-
colleague.
it is
I
when-
didn't know. I
it is
never knew him
because-
to be Francis.
It was
I
because-
always knew him to be.
it was-
Everybody knew him
don't
to
you
be.
think that it was
To be
because
sheriff.
it was because you guys don't want to say, eh?
No.
Now you guys they put there. Okay, we'll go fine. We'll get you. We'll get you. We know you since.
No,
Okay, keep quiet. Since. We don't want
Everybody
to-
always
eh?
knew him to be
And-
Francis Oborevwori. I mean Sheriff Oborevwori.
How did you now get to
This
know
Francis is just creeping in from he came in from first initial O, then initial F, and then eventually Francis, and then he kept adding it to his purported first degree, and then to his purported master's degree. You know, he's just
But
bringing
how
it
did
in.
you guys come to know now? You guys didn't know. For many years, he was working with you as a chieftain of the PDP.
From the taxpayers' money, he was feeding fat, and then he became speaker very illegitimately, carrying out and then being paid from the post of Delta State and Abinicho illegitimately.
You said he was your colleague. In what context?
Yes, I was a member of the House Assembly.
Yes.
Yes, he was my colleague. This is the second tenure.
But how is it possible that this wasn't known? Or is it because that now you are on the side of the opponent, albeit within the same party, that these issues are now just coming out?
Believe you me, what business do I have with his own personal credential? I have done an election to run. He has always been known and addressed as Sheriff Oborevwori. Just two names. I have known this man for more than 10 years as Sheriff Oborevwori. Nobody knew him to be Francis. Nobody knew him to be Orokwedo.
So you guys are telling him, frankly, your name is not Francis.
Yes, yes, his name is not Francis.
But Sheriff.
He's not Francis. That Francis is somewhere, maybe a relative or one of the family.
So, in a sense, you feel that Okowa is acting like the sheriff in town.
Yeah, that is what Okowa is doing. He's imposing this guy. And you know, most intelligent people always are not comfortable with intelligent people. They always want to use unintelligent people to do their bidding. And I think this is what Okowa is trying to do. Having built his new house, sharing the same fence with exactly the governor's office, so probably want to be treating the files, post his tenure. He wants to remain as governor of Delta State through this puppet.
Two things for me. I'm sorry, please. The first is that from reports is that this might just be an extension of a clash of personalities between former Governor Ibori. You can also bring in former Governor Odoanga into the mix, but it's essentially, according to reports, between former Governor Ibori, who is said to have endorsed your person in the person of Ologu Edevbie, versus Governor Okowa, who has endorsed Sheriff.
Let me clear this. Chief James Onanife Ibori, the former governor of Delta State, does not in any way, and this is what brought us to this issue, does not in any way interfere with the governance of Delta State. He does not at all. He allows you to do whatever you want to do. He was not involved, and he never checkmated Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa. One day, in the appointment of people into his the State Executive Council, he was not involved in it. In the election of local government chairman, in the selection of party leadership, he left everything. He left everything for Okowa. So Okowa had a field day. Had a field day with the party hierarchy. Everybody in the party were all selected by himself. Okowa has no respect for leaders of the party or for the stakeholders of PDP. The critical stakeholder of PDP Delta State.
But you cannot say that. You cannot say that Ibori is not interested in who becomes party
governorship candidate.
You can't say that because Okowa knows that Ibori, even when he was in London in detention or in prison, played a significant role in making sure that Okowa became governor of the state. So if he did that from London,
yes.
Well, how could he not do it from Ogara?
Because Ibori is a very, very, very trusting person, a very, very trusting human being. And he left everything. He will assume that. Many people have been complaining to James Ibori about how Okowa has been removing just anybody that has anything to do with James Ibori and Emmanuel Oduaha from the government. Is it from the former Speaker, Chief Monday Buya, who was very close to Ibori, and Okowa removed him as the Speaker of the House? That was done in the middle of the night, 2 a.m. I was involved in it. He directed everybody, including myself, that he has to go. Ibori, when Ibori heard it, Ibori just said, well, I trust this man and I will not fight him. In the choice of the state chairman of the party, it was purely all Okowa's game. Even the House of Assembly membership, Ibori does not interfere. Dr. Manu, they don't interfere. They believe that we are all one, but they didn't know that Okowa was scheming to make sure that the party hierarchy is in his pocket, the House of Assembly is in his pocket, and the whole money of the state is in his pocket. And this is what he's using as the Jamboree fund to fund the presidency, who becomes PDP presidential candidate, to fund and to undermine the leaders of Delta State and the critical stakeholders of Delta State.
But what are his chances now that you have stressed this point about your allegations against Governor Okowa and the loan that he got, perhaps? Who knows now? We don't know if the reports are also anything to go by. You've also insinuated about that him possibly alluding or collaborating with Sheriff as Speaker to effect the approval of this funds. But my question back to what I said now, that what are his chances? Because we also understand that the national body of the PDP has ordered reconciliation in the PDP, in Delta State, saying as, this is a crucial state, the state where the vice presidential candidate is from.
Yeah, it's the same thing he's doing with the national, the PDP at the national. That's the same thing he's doing with PDP Delta State.
But the party, is it not a fact that the party in Delta State has also created committees to enhance reconciliation? Are you saying that hasn't worked?
Yes, Okowa has actually appointed the people he used to break the glass to repair the glass. What I mean is that the people that he's currently using, that he has used to polarize the party, to fight James Ibori, to fight Emmanuel Dua, and to fight every PDP stakeholder. And the same people he has appointed.
Put the cat in charge of the fish.
That is it. That is it. That is what he has done.
But the story now
to be the charge of the reconciliation.
The story now is that you are trying to play down Ibori here. But the thing is that Ibori has not even congratulated the sheriff. He has not congratulated Okowa for being picked by Atiku to be the vice presidential candidate. Neither has Dua done that. Which means that there's a lot of storm in the PDP.
Right. And I just wanted to let Sam know that both James Ibori and Emmanuel Udua, their statement, and they are highly respected. And all they did is to make sure that the governorship of Delta State rotates within the three senatorial districts. Their statement, they just want the best for the state. They had no problem with Okowa being the governor because Okowa is son. He can handle the issues. He can relate with the issues. Delta State is a multi-ethnic state. So the fact that they did not, they don't take issues personal, and they have nothing against Sheriff other than the fact that he is not qualified. He cannot attend the National Economic Council meeting. He can't even relate with what will happen there. He cannot relate with our neighbor governor.
How did he perform?
He cannot relate with our neighbor governor Soludo.
How did he relate as speaker? How did he relate with him as speaker? Was he not literate as speaker? The records are there that he has no B to his name.
And how did
even the House of Assembly, in the House of Assembly, throughout this 7th Assembly, all they treat is executive B. Okowa brings the B, they write it from the Attorney General office, they bring the B, anything they want to articulate, they bring it, and he just passes it. The work of a speaker is the easiest thing. His easiest thing is to say what they ask him to do. That's what speaker is.
He's a manager of lawmakers, and if you guys knew that was what was going on, was just signing, did you get curious that this man?
Of course, you know very well that
paper, what kind of certificate did this man get?
The only reason Okowa is insisting on Sheriff to be the governor of the state is for access to the loan. He's the approving person. And because he's not will I say an undocumented illiterate, then he can approve any loan for him.
But the point
he can approve any loan for him.
The point is, as in why is all this coming out now? Or does it appear, or it appears that you all were comfortable with Governor Okowa's leadership style? You were comfortable with Sheriff Oborevwori's style in the assembly until now that it now has to be now you are competing against him?
No. Everybody know that this personality is not competent. But you have no right to go and inquire into his personal documentation.
How long was he speaker for?
He has been speaker for over 6 years, but he's not speaking.
And you guys allowed somebody who was dumb to be your speaker?
What do you do? What can you do? We're talking about 207 billion naira that nobody's talking in Nigeria.
You can flush out a speaker if you are lawmakers. Lawmakers can come together and flush out a speaker. It is constitutional.
But that is if the members of the House have the balls. They don't.
But it would have been easier for the PDP in the House of Assembly if the speaker was from the opposition.
It's not possible. There is no vibrant opposition.
But that may perhaps explain. That may perhaps explain why you all stomached this until now.
It's as it is today. Every member of the House is at the whim and caprice of the governor. That is the thing.
No, but they say now that given the crisis going on in PDP, if you guys don't take care very well, APC's Omo Agege will come in and exploit it. And
he's checking on everybody already. He's checking on it, and that is why David went to court. Because if he does not go to court, then the party submits the name of Sheriff to INEC, and then Omo Agege goes to court. Then Omo Agege will be the beneficiary, will be the governor, because the party ought to do a proper screening. But the party could not, the party at the national level could not do the proper screening because of the jamboree fund that the objector state that Okowa is spreading, and everybody wants a piece of that money. So, and for that, nobody is talking. You see what is going on at the national level of the party? The same thing is doing in the states. Just the same thing. Party is polarized both at the national and at the state level.
So the Delta state has become a picture of PDP in the country.
That is what that is.
And in the words of Senator
unfortunately,
James
that is the reality.
The party is sinking. Well, that's according to
James Manager,
which also seems to reflect with what you're saying now.
James Manager is one of our very, very highly respected leader of the party. Very outstanding. He has been one of the major pillars that has sustained the party PDP in the state. And to be frank, you heard what he said. The people causing this crisis, many of them are people who made a lot of money inside PDP and outside of PDP. And he's very concerned. And I think that something needs to be done about this very drastically. And I need to let you know too that even there's a criminal aspect to this case of Oborevwori.
Absolutely.
That the police have been in Delta State. They went to the primary school he claimed he went to. You know, they are doing a lot of investigation.
They have gone to the Delta State. Yes, based independently.
Based on petition. They have also gone to the Delta State. No, not from me. A concerned individual. You know, they have also gone to the Delta State Ministry of Basic Education. Investigation is going on. How can somebody be collecting salary as a member of the House of Assembly and as Speaker of the Delta State Assembly for almost 7 years now?
All right. We will let the police.
He doesn't have the
we will
qualification.
let the police do their job on that because nothing definite has been reached yet. And you know, even the twist continues. You know, following.
He has the right to appeal. And
absolutely,
that's what
and that's what
he has the right
on.
to appeal.
And obviously. Mr. Edevbie would also, you know, go on to pursue.
Are you guys worried that if this man wins in court, you know, in Nigeria, you can never say never to any case, especially in politics.
Yes.
That if this man wins in court, that's Sheriff.
Yes.
What the implication might be for the election and for the fortunes of PDP in Delta State? Because people have always said that. Nobody has proved it that the election in Delta State has always been a matter of who controls the creeks, that crayfish, crocodiles, tilapia, all of them vote after the human beings have voted. Then after they look at the numbers in order to balance it, then we start summoning all the crayfishes and all the witches of the water to come and do their own voting, and then we count, and then the election is decided.
Yeah, to answer your question, I'm very, very perturbed. I'm very, very worried because I know that if Sheriff wins and anybody takes PDP to court, if Omage takes PDP to court,
Yes.
I can assure you that both Sheriff and PDP will be disqualified. That is it. And this is the reason David went to court. And I don't see any of the 72 appeal court judges in Nigeria or any of the 21 justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria trying to become a part of the history greatest scandal.
Okay, a quick one. I just want to
of making somebody who has no certificate, why certificate to be a governor of a state.
Mr. Oborevwori, briefly, just about 30 seconds or so,
Yes.
a Fred of Sive is also talking about that the party should investigate Mr. Edevbie's NYSC certificate. What do you make of that?
Well, he has a right to say that, but everybody knows that David Edevbie served the National Youth Service Corps.
How do you know everybody knows? I don't know.
If you don't know that, the pictures are there.
Okay.
He served in Enugu State. He served in Enugu State. He has his mates in the NYC that he relates to, men and women who serve with him, who are here in Nigeria working, doing businesses. People, you know your NYC NYC mate. I know my.
So this is
Sheriff. It is Sheriff that did not do youth service. At the age of 36, he said he went to secondary school. And you and me know that by 36 years, you should be writing private GCE, the October-November GCE. He has no youth service colleague friend that he can relate to. David can relate to.
In the school, 36 years old in the school.
In secondary school. Was when he got his wife.
They call him Baba of school.
Baba of school, yes.
We'll see how it all
This is a funny
plays
country, funny
out.
Nigeria.
Mr. Evans Oborevwori, thank you very much for speaking to us on TVC Breakfast. Of course, we'll continue to monitor the development and get back to you and other stakeholders for more on the crisis in the PDP.
And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Evans,
Thank TVC for having me.
Yeah.
You don't know what you have been to Delta State.
It looks like we'll bring you back as a matter of old. So come and give us more.
I'll be always glad to be at TVC
All right.
for the great job you are doing for our nation.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thank you very much.